Hello, so what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be going through a program which includes a function that actually returns a value. So previously we wrote this multiply function where we go ahead and pass in a couple numbers. Those numbers are multiplied together and then the function prints out the result. A function does not always have to display its output directly. Instead, it can process some data and then return a value or set of values. The value the function returns is called a return value. The return statement takes a value from inside a function and sends it back to the line that called the function. Return values allow you to move much of your program's grunt work into functions, which can simplify the body of your program. So what we're going to do here is we're going to keep these two lines right here, but we're going to go ahead and delete this print statement. And instead of printing the result, we're going to add a return statement that just returns the value stored in result. So go ahead, hit enter, and then as you can see, when you add that return keyword into your function and you hit the enter key, then the Python knows that the function, after you return something, the function is over. So what we're going to do in this case, instead of passing in values that are hard-coded, we're going to prompt the user for the two numbers. So let's go ahead and type in that code. And we will go ahead and set num1 equal. And we're going to enter an integer. So what we're going to do is, since we're going to be using that integer in a formula, we want to go ahead and convert that input from its string into an int. So I will type in int, and then I will type in my input, and I will go ahead and type in my prompt message. And close out my string. And I will just copy and paste this. And it'll be num2, enter another integer. Okay, so we've prompted the user for the integer. So now what we're going to do in our function call, since result is getting returned to us, the value, when we call the function, we want to go ahead and save that value returned when we call the function into a variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my function call to product equals, and then I just specify my call to my function. So it'll be multiply. And then what I'm going to pass in my two arguments, which are stored in my num1 and num2 variables. And then what'll happen is those arguments will get passed into our first number and second number parameters. First number and second number will get multiplied to each other, stored in result, and our result will go ahead and get returned to us and get stored in our product. And then finally, what we want to do is we want to print the result. And that'll be just one function call up above. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and print the result is, and it is result. So we will go ahead and run our program now. So I'll enter 12, I'll enter a -5, and name result is not defined. Okay, so what? Oh, that's right. This should be product. We need to go ahead, since result is in a local scope of our function, what we need to do is we need to print out use the variable that our result was stored in after our function was called. So I need to change that to product. So let's go ahead and rerun it. And I'll enter a 5, I'll enter a -12, and the result is -60. So -60 gets printed out. So we're just going to go ahead and trace through the execution of this program once using the visualizer tool. So we will go ahead, visualize our execution, click on next. So now I need to enter my input. So down below, I'll enter 5, click on next. So now we're down to the next line. You can see it's stored 5 in num1 within our global scope. We'll enter -12, click submit. Now it's stored -12 in our num2 in the global scope. Now we're going to call our function. Click on next. So what happens is 5 gets the value of num1, which is 5, gets stored in our first number parameter, and num2, which is a -12, gets stored in our second number parameter. So we'll click on next again. As you can see, we created a local variable called result within our multiply function, and that stores our result. So I will go ahead and click on next, and the return value now that gets returned is -60. So I will go ahead and click on next again. And now you can see result is out of scope. So that's why when I incorrectly typed in result in my print statement, we saw that error message. So we'll click on next. It'll print our result, and it'll go ahead and print out the result is on -60. Oh, okay. So basically what this video went through is a function that actually returns a value back to the calling program. So that's all I had for this video. So we will talk to you later.